I'm on a path now and in a turning period where I realize that I need to live for myself. I need to live for my values. I need to live for who I am. And that's a thing in your 20s that is a hard pill to swallow in a way, that you've been living your whole life possibly for somebody else, possibly for your parents, possibly for external validation of friends, of these people. And you say, damn, what was I doing? What was I doing? But this is all part of the game of life. And what we're told is important and all these things is a bit of a lie, you know, and is kind of made for you to fail. So right now I am in Luxembourg Gardens in Paris, France, and coming back at you guys with another little video thingy. Um, I truly wonder if all the things that the world tells me is wrong, is truly right. Is it a good quality to not listen to people? Because all my life I was told this narrative that, and this complete fairy tale story, fantasy story for the most part, because it wasn't really real in my mind, that it could all turn out the way I wanted it to. We're told from kids to go to school, get a job out of college, play it safe, do this, do that. And I think and I think and I think about if I did that, right? I haven't done that. I've never went that route, and I never even imagined if I did take that route, what would happen, or if I would be happy with my life, because it was not a question that I would not be happy with my life. But I think and say, what if I believed? What if I believed in this narrative that if I go to college and I go into 300, 400,000 in student loan debt, if I was to become a lawyer and went into even more debt, or if I was to become a doctor and get into even more debt, would that have made me successful, right? And the way that I viewed success as a kid was completely upon other people. Like, I always viewed it through, uh, this is what the world is telling me is success. And now I finally have grown this perspective of creating my own version of success, where I'm saying, this is what I view as success: having a family, making money for that family, providing for that family, having a wife, having a kid, not 30 women on a yacht, like not this whole thing that I could be thinking, but I'm not. And I've created this in my mind, and I've created a way in which I could live my life, or the way that I want to live my life in the future, where it's not conquered by a boss, where it's not conquered by society standard of what you need to be, you know. And I hate the fact that the best thing you could do nowadays is almost not listen, because if you listen, you're going to destroy yourself in the process of trying to become the thing that the world views as success, right? Because in this journey and in this time that I've been trying to find myself through my 20s, I've seen a lot of different things. I've experienced a lot of different experiences. And one of the experiences that I've experienced is pretty much having that job that, quote unquote, was the version of success that the world told me when I was a kid would make me happy and would fulfill me the way that it should, you know, or the life that I was supposed to live. I keep repeating the same thing, but it, and I felt stupid, because I knew that I was living a life that was for somebody else. It was almost for my parents, for my family, to tell them, yeah, I'm doing something, I'm successful in this sense. And I wanted to view it as success, but I could not relate it to success in myself. So in my mind, I've made it to a place and I've gotten to a job where I'm devoting so much time, so much energy, and yet I'm not really living for myself. I'm not really doing what I want to be doing. And I took it as like, yeah, this is just a stepping stone in the beginning, Then I slowly started to realize this is draining my life and changing the dreams I have, and even throwing those dreams away because all the time is spent on creating this quote unquote value and monetary gain that really did not push me to be a better person, did not push me to be anywhere in life other than more comfortable. And I began to get extraordinarily comfortable and began to think that this life that I was living of complete sin, honestly, was it. And I started to say every single time that I got to a point where I was like, this can't be it. Is this it? Is this it for my life? Is this all my life is worth? Is this six-figure job or whatever it is, and these paychecks every 2 weeks? Is this all my life is worth? And every single time I was like, no, this can't be your life. This literally cannot be your life. This is the last thing that is going to be your life is this job and this narrative. Out of this whole situation with this job was to realize that the goal in life maybe isn't financial gain. Maybe the goal in life is not to live for everybody else. Maybe the goal in life is for me to live for myself. And my dream life, my success is completely different than any success that the world could tell me is success. I wanted this outer validation and I seeked it, and it was almost a bottomless pit of walking into the abyss where I was walking and the only things that could make me temporarily happy was sin. Only thing that could make me temporarily happy was a paycheck coming on a Friday. Only thing that could make me temporarily happy is spending money, sowing the fruits of my quote unquote labor, and newfound financial freedom. And a part of me always was saying, I need to get out of this. Like I'd get a few checks, I'd save some money, and I'd be like, I need to like literally move to Thailand now, or move to Bali now. And meanwhile, I'm losing myself in all these different sins, sex, everything but drugs, because I'm sober 3 years, 3.5 years, 4 years almost, and I lost myself in the time, and I lost myself, and I didn't even know I was losing myself in a way, and it felt like I was caught inside the matrix in a way where it was like I had already seen the other side, where I had another experience where early in my 20s, when I was 20 years old, I went on a 6-month backpacking trip through Asia, and I experienced this crazy freedom for not a big cost. And I realized the life that you could live for such little money, and how much success you really need to obtain, and the choice of how many choices there is in life. You know, there's so many choices in life, and there's so much world out there for you to see, and there's so many different lives for you to live, especially outside of America. Even now in Paris, you look and you say, oh, what is this? What is this? What is this? And the culture is different, the people are different, and the values are different, and you get sucked out of this whole version of success that you think, that you grow up thinking, you know, that your teachers tell you, that your parents tell you, and that your parents lived. You know, my parents especially, they had these jobs in the city, and they worked at those jobs for 30, 40 years, and they came out as successful and was able to create a great life for the next generation that they were able to build in our family. And in this next generation, which is me and my sister and the people that are growing up in my family, we're now able to experience and make the choice of either walking out of the same pattern or walking into a new one to create and be able to be different for our sons and daughters, to tell them that they have unlimited options. I'm not saying that my parents ever said that I was limited to this, that, and this, but this is the only point of view that they had, that they could, that it was to go to college, it was to do this, it was to do that, and that's what they told me, and that's what I believed. And at the time when I was a kid, I always wanted to please my parents in these ways where I wanted them to be happy with who I am, wanted them to be quote unquote satisfied with the person I'm becoming, and I wanted to become the person that they wanted me to become. I wasn't thinking about who I wanted to become. I was thinking about what did my parents want me to become because I wanted to make them happy, which is something that I'm happy I went through. But today, I'm living for me instead of my parents. You know, I became my own man in that sense, and I'm proud of myself for that because that's not easy to do. And many 20-year-olds and 20-somethings are stuck in trying to please their parents with the job they get, the life they live, and they're living a life that is not for them, you know. And it's a crazy experience. But I say that all these experiences, I said that experience of traveling the world like gave me a whole different perspective. But then still, I still craved and wanted this quote unquote success that the world was telling me was success, or my surroundings was telling me was success. And I'm not saying that I'm in a crazy place right now, or that I'm uber successful in so many different ways. I obviously have so much work to do and so many things I want to do, but I'm on a path now and in a turning period where I realize that I need to live for myself. I need to live for my values. I need to live for who I am, and that's a thing in your 20s that is a hard pill to swallow in a way. That you've been living your whole life possibly for somebody else, possibly for your parents, possibly for external validation of friends, of these people, and you say, damn, what was I doing? What was I doing? But this is all part of the game of life, and what we're told is important, and all these things is a bit of a lie, you know, and is kind of made for you to fail in one way or another, even if you like to say it or not. Is made for you to fail in life, but you have a choice. You have a choice on the life that you live. You have a choice on the person that you become, and I'm so grateful I've become this person to where I'm able to strive and see the success that I want in life. And I hope that you guys get something out of this message because, you know, so many of us are lost in this trap. And the advice I would give you, I hate giving advice, but advice I would give you is just go experience as many things that people tell you not to do. You know, when I went on my Asia trip, people told me, when I was telling my mom, I'm like, I'm gonna book a one-way ticket to Bali. She said, no, you cannot do it. It's so dangerous there, this and this, this and this. And of course, I did not believe her, and I went and everything. And everybody told me not to do this other than like my dad and myself. And I did it, and I had the courage, and I stepped out, and it was the most uncomfortable thing in the world, but I did it, and it changed my life almost for forever. In my point of view, and in all this, all these things that I realize now. So my advice to you would be like, man, just step out, and even if it's in business, in your dreams that you're chasing, on the other side of the know you're crazy, and all on the other side of the things that these people might say around you, I would shut your mouth and just kind of do whatever you want to do, and say fuck the judgment and just rock and roll. You know, that's kind of what I'm doing with this. Is I know that this is what I'm going to do with my life, and I know that this is what I'm meant to do with my life, but I'm very quiet about it. I don't speak about it to everybody. I don't tell even some of the closest people to me that I'm doing this. I don't show them the channel, but sooner or later they may find out about it, and that's going to be beautiful that it's out there that way. But I just feel as though dreams, you should keep a bit close to yourself and always beware who you tell, because it could affect you in many ways. Because in a sense, us as human beings, we do care. We do care what people think in a way. We do. I do, at least. So, especially the people closest to us. So, yeah, that's what I'd like to say. And thanks for watching.